Hi, so here we are for my final vlog for the Epson Runsense SF-810. So I've covered various different things on my previous 4 videos, and for this one what I wanted to do was combine my top 5 points about the watch, or the top 5 pros as I see it, and then the 5 cons or negatives or things that might have an impact onto why you would purchase this. They might not, depending on what you want out of a watch, but it's to give you a full picture of my opinion of this gadget. So the pros start with the appearance. It's a good looking watch. Obviously that's not what it's all about, but it's you want something that looks nice. It fits really well, so the strap is comfortable. It works well even though I've got a really small wrist. The spec of the watch is definitely one of its bonuses. So it has loads of different stats, options, metrics. It's just so much in there that you can look at and use, and which is really great, because if you're spending a chunk of money on something, you want there to be lots to it, and there definitely is. Also, the fact it's got the built-in heart rate monitor, that's a bonus, especially these days. That's becoming more and more important. People don't want to be wearing a heart rate strap. And lastly, because obviously there is a lot to it, it comes with really detailed instructions, which is really important so that you're able to get the most out of your watch. So those are my top 5 pros, but what have I struggled with this watch? Look at the negatives. There are a few things that I've struggled with a little bit with this watch, or found haven't worked as well for me as previous watches and things that I've used. So the first thing is, it's kind of the flip side of this watch doing so much, is I find it quite complex. It's not always easy to use, and I think it would take a while, it has taken me a while to get used to what the different buttons do at different points. That's, I find, quite complicated. The second thing is the user journey, which is kind of tagged onto the first point. So when you go into measuring and you start measuring whatever you're doing, whether it's running or cycling, that to me isn't particularly straightforward. So you go in and you start measuring. Now you can be measuring running while you're cycling, or cycling while you're running, if you haven't set it up correctly, depending on what you last did. So you've got to remember to always change that. Whereas with previous watches I've used, that comes up as an option before you start measuring, which for me makes a little bit more sense. Maybe it's just because I'm used to that, I don't know. Thirdly, it's actually the app on my phone, which I downloaded onto my iPhone. I found it quite slow at times, and there's a limited amount of data that you can get from it. Now, on the flip side, I've managed to link it to Strava, and obviously Strava gives you all the data and analysis and everything you want, which is great, but sometimes you just want that from the app itself, and it didn't seem to give me as much data as I would have liked. Fourth is the heart rate monitor. I found it dipped in and out quite a bit when I was wearing the watch, even though I had the watch on tightly enough so it wasn't moving around at all. It still just seemed to lose my heart rate every now and again, which was frustrating, especially when you then look at the analysis and the data afterwards. There were chunks where apparently I had no heart rate. Well, that wasn't true. And then lastly for me, the web application and uploading the data onto my computer wasn't the easiest thing to do. I had to do it multiple times to get all the data from the watch onto my computer. Now that was significantly easier on the app using Bluetooth, so that kind of was a bonus on that side, but it was much more difficult to do via my computer, which was frustrating because I had to do it 3 or 4 times to get all 12 workouts that I had on the watch onto my computer. Not something you really want to be faffing around with. So those are my 5 kind of niggles, I suppose you could call them, or negatives. Depends what you're looking for a watch. If you're good at the techie stat complexity of this watch, then I'd definitely say give it a go. But I would be wary of the web application and the app on the phone. I think they're areas that at the moment need a bit of work, but if you're with Strava and you can link it to Strava, then you still get all the benefits. So it depends what you're really looking for. Overall, it's a great watch, and I think if it's what you're after, it will definitely give you everything you need. Thanks.